Okay, I went and created a new toolbar called Render Tools because it won't let me just drop Render Tools in. There is a toolbar, but it won't let me, drop it into the ribbon like I did these other things. But I created just a custom tab here. Now this Photo View 360, has this thing here. Okay, so if you got the preview window, you can kind of make it large or small as you want, but you can see what it's doing. It's more or less independent of my movement here on the screen, but it's dynamically repositioning it. Now if I turn that off, I can do an integrated preview, which it popped into this mode the first time I ever screwed with Photo View 360, and that's why I was like, shit, I ain't gonna use it in this mode because it takes forever, but that's what it was. It was the integrated preview on this thing. And in the Photo View 360 you got these controls up here, but that's why I turned it off, was because of that time I didn't know what the hell was going on. But again, it's probably best to use the integrated preview if you wanted to actually do a render preview of it. I'm going to go edit scene, and oh shit, I didn't think of that, but use environment. Okay. Good, thank God. I was afraid it might have universally set my scenes, but I guess you do that in the setup menu. I was hoping it didn't do that, because I basically dropped this in here using the edit scene thing, because I really wish it didn't show that under the circumstances. But at any rate, the Photo View 360, oops, damn it. Turn that back off. But anyway, it has options, and I'm supposed to be able to turn on dynamic help, and it's supposed to give me little help screens that fly out like kind of like like AutoCAD and so forth. But it doesn't seem to work. It's probably some special thing I gotta go turn on the registry. Fucking ass wipes. But at any rate, you got all these different render settings, including bloom and cartoon rendering if you wanted to do that, direct caustics. So, and I guess you can do network rendering. I guess if you have like 100 of these set up. See, I think 3D Studio still allows you to do free network rendering, which means you can set up nodes on multiple computers, to do to speed up rendering time and make a render farm. Preview, render quality, I guess good is the best it goes to on the preview. But at any rate, we can go or a preview window and see what that will kind of look like. So full res preview, pause button, I'll expand it that big. But anyway, you can go up here and do a final render, and if you do, this screen pops up. I guess it's the size of your preview window, apparently. So, I don't know what the deal with that is. But at any rate, yeah, I don't know. Let's see how. Final color output, zoom. So I don't know what the resolution is. I probably, could have looked at the settings. I've already done these other renders here too. Here's the statistics of it. I don't see anything about the scale here, but anyway, okay, yeah, I guess this is the width that's set to render, and the output image size. So, I guess it did render it, just zoomed it in because our preview was set to small. I don't know. But at any rate, so it's kind of cool, what it can do. But it's like I said, there's a lot to it. But and again, for doing just a simple render, that's fine. I still say though that using, especially if you're just doing renders, I mean, even Rhino might be a better choice. Because again, these other programs do have faster renderers in it, including 3D Studio, etc. And they're, you get much more options, if you're really trying to do, situational renders and so forth. But still, this is good for just basic presentations and so forth. And just like the animation, I wouldn't want to do anything super complex. I looked at the walkthrough, and I recorded all the animation stuff, by the way, on the other computer. So I got my local copies of it. But it's just such a minor thing right now, and I didn't want to. I don't have the same models set up or anything to work with. But still, if you're doing really sophisticated animations and so forth, and the walkthroughs this thing generates are, I forgot how you do it, but they're kind of, jerky. I think it's under view, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I didn't even have time to look through it really. Only half paying attention to it. But like I said, I know you do walkthroughs. See, here's lights and camera. So he went through how to add directional lights, how to, you can do pretty sophisticated stuff. You can make camera, I want to say camera dollies, but they're, like camera trolleys or whatever. He didn't even go through a lot of these things, like spotlights and so forth. Good Lord. But that'd probably be under the insert menu, I'd imagine. I don't know. But at any rate, yeah, there's just all kinds of things you could do. You can make little camera trays or whatever the hell, to control your camera motion and set paths for it, and control the lights and animate all that, and so there's lots of stuff to it. But it's still, again, nothing compared to 3D Studio. I mean, that's really, if you're doing something serious, I mean, it's like that walkthrough thing that it generated was really just generated really jerky, something almost looks like, something from a, a TRS-80, from the, from the early 80s, making a 3D maze game, and it's just really jerky, something almost like I'd create on Rhino right now, since I don't have an animation package on it. And I'm like, man, you can do that, nice and smooth, in 3D Studio, or shit, even in AutoCAD, I'd imagine. But you know, this isn't the best program for that, but you know, that's neither here nor there. Yeah, with the add walkthrough thing, you know, it's like right here. So where, huh. Start walkthrough, you know, so you got these, you know, controls and so forth, and you know, and it gets you this, which is supposed to display the help, but of course that's not working all too well. Unbelievable. But it's a combination of you know, mouse moves and arrow keys, but it'd make it, you know, you can set it to jackrabbit, you know, you can control the number of steps from this. God, this is sluggish. And control, you know, your orientation, you know, so you can move forward with an arrow key like I'm doing right now. You know, this thing is sluggish. And anyway, you can, you know, record your motion and all that stuff. Whatever. What a piece of shit. Anyway, you can control your motion, you know, from the keyboard here, you know, from left to right and all that, and at least that works better than this thing, and this really sucks. Shift plus up. Okay, good. I can use the shift key to actually control it a little more fluidly anyway. But, you know, my point is that, you know, you can do that, and that's great, and you can record the whole thing, but it is herky-jerky, and, you know, it's just, again, like a lot of things, kind of half thought out, you know, and I don't think it doesn't smoothly interpolate between those jumps, you know, when you make the video, as far as I know. So, because he didn't actually show us the final result of the video, the bastard. Anyway,